All right, good evening all. Well, welcome to the town board agenda meeting. Please rise and salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman O'Neill,
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Here.
Councilman Fazio,
Here.
Councilman Niles,
Here.
Supervisor Molino.
Here. Read off some of these resolutions.
Okay, so far the resolutions we have that need to be handled for next week are a resolution to pay the bills of the first abstract of 2022, a resolution to accept meeting minutes of the November 2021 meetings, resolution to approve the request for a vendor permit for Madeline Molson to operate Mad Dog's Hot Dog Cart at the Wayside Beach for the year 2022. Possible resolution of discussion on water purification operator position for Jeffrey Dickinson. Contract agreement with Tracy Clothier for lake management. I believe is that Jean has that, and I put it in your boxes. Resolution to appoint Michael Bordeaux to the planning board to fill the unexpired term of Harold Thompson. And then we're going to need a standard workday resolution for retirement. And Mr. Crowe will speak on the executive order 11.1.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at it. I haven't looked at it.
Oh, okay. That's what I have so far.
All right, we just want to work on these, or is there any questions we should go over? And move on to the next one. The paying the bills is obvious. Accepting the meetings is obvious. That,
I'm being the new guy, I'm paying the bills. When do we get a packet to look at?
You get those when you come in for the night of the meeting, but you can come in Monday before the meeting, anytime during the day, and review them if you want to.
Okay.
We do the abstract. I try to have it done by Friday afternoon.
by Friday sometimes. Yeah, that's done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And resolution for Mad Dog. So anybody has any questions on that? Tracy sent me, and I think it was in your box. She wants to do the same contract that she did last year, $10,000.
Maximum.
Maximum, yep, same as last year. Same thing, exactly the same.
Same rate.
Unless you have any other discussion on it. That's a regular thing.
We put something in there, Jane, where if she needs more, that we can approve it that way. Is it in there or no?
If there was extra, it could be going. But
I just didn't see that verbiage in here. I don't know if we could include that, make it easier, because we got a lot going on.
We'll
But
see that tomorrow anyway, make sure.
Tracy does a great job, and that with everything that she has going on, I don't want to handcuff her by, without letting her go and do what she needs to do.
That's perfect.
So we want to change the verbiage to include,
Because I think the verbiage is in there is also $50 an hour.
Yeah, it is.
There it is.
With a cap of 10, though.
The cap at 10. So if she has extra 5 or 8 or 10 hours in between the whole year, each time she uses it, that's the way we'll say it. Each time she might use it, has to come to us.
I wouldn't say each time. I'm not speaking for everybody. I would just like to be able to let her continue working past that 10,000 if she needs to, with just a quick board approval or something.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Please let us
absolutely.
know about it.
Yeah.
so you guys want to add, who's gonna make this?
I don't think we need to.
Why is that?
It's got the $50.
Right.
Yeah,
But that's her proposal, though. That's not the resolution.
It's got a cap. Right,
The
but it's,
resolution will come, this Friday, I guess, right?
right, but it's got a cap, Jim, of $10,000.
Right.
With no provision for over that.
Okay,
So
so,
You're looking at her proposal, not the resolution. The resolution we want to pass next week.
My question would be, do you want an agreement prepared? Or do you want a resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into the agreement?
Well, we need to enter into the agreement she has now, but we're gonna add a line to it that put provisions that if she needs extra, as long as we know about it.
Approach the board and
Yeah.
we can approve it or disapprove.
And so she can extend, she can have extra over the 10,000.
Yeah.
I don't know, we won't put a limit on it.
Yeah.
Board approval.
On an as-needed basis.
Use it that way with the board approval, this way it's all taken care
okay,
of. You wanna talk about the standard work resolution?
yeah, I was telling Paul, I'm not sure if it's every year or every 5 years. We have to do a standard workday resolution, setting the standard workday for retirement purposes. And so we just have to make a resolution for whatever that needs to be. I would have had it all written out, but I had to leave early today. And Cindy was gone when I got back, so, I'll work with her to get the actual verbiage on the resolution in Mr. Crowe if
Yeah,
needed.
Mr. Crowe.
So we just need to have that
And
resolution.
we'll be able to see it sometime Thursday or Friday this week. Or you wanna do them all on Friday?
Well, if there's any that I have to do, I'll get them to you.
Okay,
I mean, depending on what would need to be done, I can get them on Thursday. Okay, get them
I know,
compiled.
email that.
And if we can email everybody that we got.
Yeah.
All right, I also,
I might have another resolution, maybe. If we think we're that far along, and that's to put the no-file RFP up. We have a meeting tomorrow, we have a draft. Tomorrow at the meeting, we're hoping to tune up the draft. And as soon as Tracy can put those changes in the draft, we may have an RFP ready for town council to look at. So I don't know if we want to put it on the agenda or
It can always be.
yeah, it could always be tabled.
What do you think?
Let's put it on the agenda. It could always be tabled if we don't finish it or we can't get a complete RFP, but we gotta get working on it.
yeah.
All right, so we'll add that on to,
So just so the other council members know, we have a meeting 2 o'clock tomorrow, which is our second meeting. Tracy, you're gonna be there. Tracy, Jean, Howard's been helping us, and probably Kirk will be on both of the lakes. Thank you.
I got a letter from Patricia Goldberg. On the 30th, email actually. She's looking to be put on the planning committee. Master plan.
Don't we have it?
Well, I don't know if she's on it, but I know I gotta get the
I'm
list.
sure we have room, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I know that we sent out, and there was 15 people, which is what was allowed to be on that committee.
But I think somebody dropped out.
I think a couple people didn't even show up, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you, Laurie.
yeah,
Okay,
right.
so, all right,
so if we wanna write it up, that we can put her on, but we should check and see if you want, I was there with the reg, so you had just 15 people that was there.
We had it out there, yeah. We had Cindy, I think, and Jamie, everybody advertised the opening, and then we had letters of interest sent in.
yeah.
But then everything kind of dissolved after that, so yeah, we should definitely reconstitute that and get that going for
I don't
sure.
even know if they've met since that.
I don't know, I don't
No.
know.
That's one of my questions.
Just that one night, Karen, yeah.
One night that you were here.
So you have the list of who it was? Cindy does?
We have that.
We should probably definitely reach out to everybody and see, gauge their interest,
I'm
right?
not on that committee per se. I mean, I'm certainly probably going to be involved in it, but I was gonna ask, they were looking for a grant for that. Do you know if the grant was approved?
We
Anyone
did
know?
not get the grant.
We did not get the grant?
What was that?
So are you gonna move
We did not
forward with
get
it
the
without the
grant for the
grant?
funds to redo the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, Tracy told us that the other day.
So are you gonna move forward without the grant? It's gonna be expensive.
Well, we should get it going
We should,
to a point.
because that's what's gonna help us get future grants as well. If we don't have that, then-
We're gonna talk to Tracy. She just called and said we can get it. And we have this meeting coming up.
Mhm.
Let's see what she says and I'll let you know either by email or we'll wait for the meeting.
so she think we should ask Cindy to contact everybody that was on that committee and
I
just
can
gauge.
find out from Tracy what's going on first, actually.
Let's see.
Well, if we're gonna move forward with it, with or without the grant, we still need to see who wants to be on the committee, right? Doesn't mean we're gonna sign a contract with them.
Yeah, I think.
Because I think it kind of seemed to fall by the wayside after that one meeting by the sounds of it.
Mhm.
I know I haven't heard it.
No.
Yeah, we can
Since I'm not-
recontact those people.
That's all.
We have all the information.
I think we got emails, everything that night, right, Laura? So it shouldn't be a real
I
cumbersome.
think they provided it when they provided their interest.
Yeah.
As the former chairman of the zoning board, I think it's important to make an effort to push this along. Over the last few years, we've discovered a lot of contradictions in the zoning book that need to be addressed, and plus the town needs to think, what do we want to look like 10 years from now? So I know we didn't get the grant, I'm disappointed we didn't get the grant, but I think we should see if we can figure out how to make it happen anyways.
I agree.
So we can reach out to those people.
All right. The only other thing here, when we were doing the insurance company, they asked us about anything over $10,000 that we store. So we mentioned the groomers. I did call Mike Zillin. They are insured. It's on our building. But we need just have a little town agreement that the attorney could make up. They're leasing the space, but no, there's no money involved. But we have a town agreement that we're allowing them to be the groomer there.
And absolving us from any responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
whatever,
good.
Like, you know, the way it's got to be written.
Yeah.
Really resolve of any problem, in case the place burns down, but they are insured, he told me, for their equipment.
Are we named as an additional insured on their policy for that space?
Yeah,
Good.
that all has to be, that we make. That we take care of the building itself, we were insured for that.
Right.
But they have to show us, they have to give us a copy of their
Right.
insurance.
Yeah, and I think
Let us have, we help harmless, I think that's what we can say.
yeah, I think being named as an additional insured
Or
is
they're sure.
a good move. And, what was the, that was the trail club?
South Lawrence Snowmobile Club.
The groomer.
South Lawrence Snowmobile Club, so the room is inside our.
Okay.
You all, I think Cindy said she put a contract for Metro Toledo, that's the company that takes care of our scales at the landfill. Should have had a contract in the thing last week, she said.
What are we doing with that? Remember, we were talking about it, that it's not really the right scale for the job because everybody has to unhook their trailer and all that stuff when they weigh in. Are we looking to do any upgrades or anything there to help, say, alleviate that process?
Not at the moment, not really at the moment. That, in fact, I talked to Rick and we came up with an idea that has to be built, but it's just, you know, like the car jacks that we put a bar on it with a U, just put it on there, jack it up, nobody has to touch it.
Mhm.
And let it out, put it back down.
Yep.
To buy a bigger scale or do anything to help that.
I don't know if you were here, you might have been out at the
No,
time. But boy, what I witnessed up there one day was a train wreck waiting to happen with, when the lady that worked there was working there and there was a lady driving the truck with the trailer that had no idea how anything worked. There was no drop down wheel on the trailer, any support thing. It was a recipe for somebody to get hurt big time. So I'm really very concerned about that process and would love to see something done.
I hope we can get something made up quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that'll work out really well, just like you roll it under
Yeah.
a car jack.
Mhm.
That's the idea that we came up.
Right.
with. A bar
Like
on
a
it.
floor jack or something.
Yeah, just jack it up, it'll lift up, get the weight,
Mhm.
jack it back,
Yep.
lift the air out, go right back.
Right.
So that's something, but I just need, we'll have to have the resolution just to go ahead with, that has nothing to do with the
Right.
scale. Anybody have anything else?
it's not an agenda item, but I started making some calls about the sunken boat in the Hudson River. And I found out what Claudia Bramer has done. She gave me a couple of names of people she's contacted, including Matt Simpson, who called me back today. So far I've gotten no action, but I'm at least finding out what people have tried to do.
Well, yeah, that has to be with Corinth, it's on the Corinth
Yeah.
side, of the sheriff or.
Well, it's definitely on the Saratoga side, but there are those that are saying neither side owns the river, and kind of saying they want nothing to do with
Well,
it.
I know, we talked about that last week. I mean, we have to get, it's gotta be by somebody's certain property.
Yeah, it's,
So, I mean, I think,
I'm not accepting any responsibility for it, but I am just trying to get it resolved because it's an eyesore and I think it should be resolved.
maybe we can call the mayor of Corinth, the new mayor, and tell them about the problem, maybe.
That's where I'm going next.
All right, then we'll let you take care of that.
Yeah.
Then get hold of DEC.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll have something to say about that.
They already said it, they want them to
They
do it.
want to get a couple one up. And,
Yeah.
How big's the boat, Jim?
It's maybe not even as big as those two tables.
Is there any numbers on the boat anymore, Jim?
I don't know.
The only reason why I'm asking is, of course, if there's a registration number on it.
That's,
That's probably not.
I'm sure that
the sheriff's department suggested that, but I can't say for myself if there's numbers on it.
Right.
I never thought last summer to
Take a look.
take my snorkel over there and check it out.
But there's no motor on it, because that was one of the complaints of the oil and
Yeah.
the motor, and gas,
Motor's
leaking
gone.
into the water, there's no motor on it.
It was an import, the water's gone.
All right.
I'd like to see
You'll follow
what-
up on that. later.
I'd like to see what's involved in getting a street light possibly put up down at the end of Davern Drive.
Yep.
There's a elderly woman that lives down there, and it's dark. I mean, there's outright pitch black down there.
All right, the usual procedure that we do on that. Is there any lights down there at all? There's some-
Not even close to
No,
her.
not in that
The
area.
only one that's down there is, if it's still there, is the one that I put in. And then after the road was turned over to the town and everything, Nymo grabbed it.
So there's gotta be a pole number on
There
it.
was.
If you can get the pole number, just like there's a couple of lights out at the short tonight.
No, he's not talking light out, are you?
No, I'm talking about a new install.
A new installation.
Install.
A new
Call
install.
National Grid to this one company and get the closest pole to
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Okay,
And then this way they'll have an idea where to go to look. And same with streetlights. And I tell people when they call, just get me the pole number. We can call and they'll, when they get around to it, they'll do
Whereabouts on Davern Drive?
it's pretty much.
Right at the end.
It's
All
route
the way in?
Yeah, all the way at the very end.
very end.
They don't know that there's not a pole there. They might be better off coming in off of, what's that, Stephen Lane, right?
Yep.
They'd almost be better off coming in there, to be honest with you. That's a
Very
very
Nymo.
it. They all have.
Stephen Lane is across the
Yeah,
road.
Stephen Lane's across.
Yeah, it's-
Stephen Lane's across the road.
It's the other one there.
I know what you're talking about.
I have,
Where,
I have the town map. Let's see if we can find it.
Well, you know the general area anyways.
But that was.
We're just on the other side of the bridge.
That was just it.
So one thing I'm thinking about is, we have lighting districts. Is she outside the lighting district? I don't know.
Well, we just gotta look into it.
That's
That's all.
something we need to look into, just so you guys know, that's something. you have to look into.
Nymo should be able to tell us that, correct?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I know when I lived down there and we put the light in, we were out of the district. But things have changed since then.
Okay.
That's over
I
20
don't know who
28 years ago.
determines the district boundaries.
I think NIMO should owe us some money anyways. We've got how many blown up streetlights and they don't seem to replace them. So I think they kind of owe us a light. At least they can do it.
Well, if someone sees a light out, just so you know, if they get us the poll numbers, call Colleen. She puts in the request for the repair. And then it could take a week, it could take a couple months, we don't know, we don't get the schedule of it. We just put the request in. So,
There was something about a mention of putting somebody on a board, and I don't know who this person is, but did we advertise these open positions before we put anybody on? Because I had a couple people express interest too, and I don't know.
Okay, so have them put a letter of interest in. We have.
My question was, did we advertise the
No,
openings?
it needs to go on the town website.
Okay.
We have in the past.
Yeah,
So we,
but we have 3 open spots right now.
So,
We
yeah,
have a
letters of
regular
interest.
member on the planning board and the alternate for both zoning and planning. So I will contact Jamie and ask her to put it on the website
Okay.
somewhere. Maybe not on my pages, but on that front page
Yeah,
that we're
yeah.
looking for.
she redid a lot of it too, so there's a lot more organized now too, so I'm sure she can find a good spot for it.
Somebody told me.
When do you want the
there's a
cutoff
long
for that?
date on that.
I don't know, I'd just like to give everybody the opportunity before we just
Oh,
put
same
somebody
here.
on,
It's
yeah.
just, we gotta set a cutoff, and I don't think, to be realistic, I don't think.
Well,
Maybe
we
the end of
have to-
January?
It's realistic.
The end of January,
You're not-
maybe?
You're not gonna get. It's hard to fill the positions.
Yeah.
And if somebody shows an interest, like right now, I said we have 3. If we've got one person, I guess they'd send in a letter. I haven't seen that letter. But we do need 2 more, so.
And we need alternates.
If you know of anybody, Mike, that speaks to you,
Would it
just
be
let him get a
worthwhile
letter
to-
to us.
I know a real good guy that's interested, so yeah.
Maybe
Have them send it to the.
would it be worthwhile to hold it or put a time factor for the next resolution or agenda night, which is in 3 weeks?
Yeah, I'd say we make the deadline the end of January and we appoint somebody, or maybe the right before, or the Friday before the last
So
agenda
don't
meeting,
act
something
on
like
this
that.
one that we have.
I'm sorry?
Don't act on the.
Well,
one that we
no, I'm
have.
not, well, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the person, but
board-
I don't want to get lit up on question and answer time where everybody says, well, you appointed somebody without advertising it and, you know,
It's been advertised on and off. We always on and off throw it up there when we need people,
Right,
so.
we can get it on the webpage.
But yeah, if you guys want to do that and set a deadline and.
I
So
think we ought to
we're
do
down a
both.
board member on the ZBA, we need a board member.
so our agenda meeting's on the 24th, right? Or is it,
Third Monday,
yeah, is it going to be, is it this month? Going to start again on this month still?
It is starting-
at the end of
yeah.
this month.
All right, so
Last Monday.
the deadline would be, if everybody's in agreement, it should be maybe Friday the 21st. So we have all the letters at the agenda meeting.
Sounds good.
Gives us a couple weeks to
Right,
get the
that'll give
interest
a
in.
couple Weeks to get things going,
Mhm.
instead of just saying. boom,
Sure,
here
and
you
the
go.
boards can still function. So, I mean, it's good.
Now, you got just one, Karen, for the planning board?
I have 2 for the planning board. I need a regular member and I need an alternate.
Okay.
And I need the alternate for the zoning board.
Alternate.
Karen, can I ask you a question that Mike just asked me earlier?
Mhm.
Which do you consider more important, the planning board or the zoning board?
They both have value. I wouldn't say one is worth more than the other. The zoning board basically gives variances to the ordinance, but the planning board kind of sets the tone for what the standards in the town are going to be.
Yeah, that's
They look
basically
after
what
the
we-
safety of the community, you know, how the community is gonna grow, if it's safe, all kinds of things that they're doing.
Another way to state that, the zoning board is kind of like a court. In fact,
Correct.
it's considered a quasi judicial court. Ruling on, basically ruling on violations.
Right,
And whereas the planning board is the body that tries to steer projects aesthetically and so on and so forth to be consistent with the town documents.
So Karen can go ahead and tell Jamie to put that up.
Yes, please.
And the only other thing that I had on there, if you want to talk about it, because Ron wants the 2 plows.
Yeah, I think he emailed all you guys. After paying for the brine machine, he said he should have roughly around $16,000 going into surplus. So he would like to take that money to pay for one of them and then take the other 16,000 out of this year's budget out of the equipment line to pay for the second plow.
Anybody have any comments on that? Follow through on it?
Does anybody have an exact figure on?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is the money there, right?
Where we
Because-
stand, right, because before we were told that, no, there wasn't the money there to buy them,
Right, it's short.
with the brine, so I mean.
I think he tried to buy both of them out of this year's, but the brine machine came earlier than expected.
Right.
So we paid for that, so that, scratched out one of them, so he wanted to pay for one with the money left over from last year's equipment line, and then pay for the second one with this year's.
Is there that money left over, though, Logan? I guess what.
He said that there should be 16,000.
Right, well, what we'll do, we'll get with Colleen and I'll get you the exact money and I'll email it all to you. But one of them he could buy out of this year's budget, but he wants to buy two. So I will let you know probably tomorrow. Let's say it's 16, I don't think there's 16, I think it's a little less than that, but.
So he wants to buy that out of last year's technically.
Right, he
Yeah,
wants to buy
one's
one
gonna
out.
come out of last part of the money,
Right.
it's gonna come out, instead of going to surplus, we're gonna put it into plow.
Mhm.
And then make up the difference from surplus money that we have there.
Mhm.
And then buy the other one out of the budget, that's the way it's gonna be. But we'll have that, I'll have that all for you, just maybe more to make up for next month, next Monday night's meeting. We'll move forward to that, because we can't do it now until we have all the numbers. All right? Logan, does it sound good to you? Okay. So I'll give you exactly what's available and what we'll take out of surplus.
And that'll be prior to Monday night, right?
Yeah, you'll find it probably Friday, Thursday. We'll have to.
Yeah, if it comes into me, like I said, depending on, if there's information there that we have questions about or would have to research, it wouldn't happen before Friday or then to happen on Monday. But if it's just straightforward, we're checking it for form, yeah, we'll shoot it right back out.
All right,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not so much form, we want to make sure what money is actually left over from last year's budget for them. So they know how to do it, that's all.
Yeah, because they're booked out till February for delivery. So we're hoping that if we can get it approved by next week, that we would still be able to get it for this winter to finish off the winter with.
there should be enough money in it. Even, I mean, if it's got 16 in there, then it's easy. If it's off $1,000, it's if you take care of. Those you guys agree with. All right. Or you have anything else?
I don't have anything.
Logan, while you've been doing some talking, were you involved in the, coming up with the rates of,
Oh, that's next week. That's next week's stuff.
that next
Yeah,
week?
this is agenda meeting. Right?
I'm sorry.
All right, you have nothing else?
I have nothing else.
I got one more.
That
In our packet last week, we got the dam engineering report. We've got some forms we gotta fill out, right? So they have kind of. Just,
No, they're gonna take care of a lot of the forms, get them the deeds.
Jason's gonna do that for us. Okay, good. If anybody's interested, I took a quick cruise through it, the report's pretty good.
Yeah. Anybody else read the Chazen? Did you read the Chazen
I
report?
read through.
Okay. So it's in good shape, what they did.
So we're on top of the
Or,
forms.
They fill out all the forms.
Did we get a proposal or a question for them, Gene, to become our engineer? And as if are they interested in
That
whatnot?
was the other thing I'd like to bring up. I have no problem doing that, but I wouldn't want to get rid of cedarwood right now. Reason is they're working on that $2.2 million grant for us. They did all the work for that. I just wouldn't want to drop them. I prefer we have the two, but Chazen take care of this dam problem right now. And let Cedarwood continue what they're doing the rest of this year. When we get towards the end of the year, and we want to go with some contractor that has complete the whole thing, there's no problem in my mind about it. But I would not, I'd rather not drop Cedarwood right now, continue with them, because they're working with Ron on some of, laying out the work for getting water lines done up in Pierpont. So they've been doing work like that, so I just rather not just cut them right off, but I'll go with what you have. This is my suggestion. Let's keep them both. We're already gonna take care of Chazen with some of the money from the federal government and leave Cedarwood with what they're doing now. Continue with our water systems.
But Gene, over the past couple of years, Cedarwood hasn't done anything for us.
Yeah, that last year they did a lot of help Ron lay out the engineer for the water lines up in Pierpont.
We never received any grant money. They were supposed to overhook me up on grants We haven't gotten anything from them.
That's,
I mean, that's just my own 2 cents. I
no,
mean,
no, no, and right, grants are tough, like,
they're
Tracy.
tough, but the thing is, what is Cedarwood doing for us as a community? What are they doing for us? What
they laid out,
what do we have to put in their file that says, hey, this is your job?
they laid out the system, if we get that grant money, they have that all laid out already for where that job and work is.
Is the grant submitted already, Gene, or no? Are they still working on filling it out, or is it
No, no,
submitted?
That's submitted, so that it's submitted to get the grant, so if they get the grant.
Does it have to be done through them if we get it?
uh,
Grants aren't usually,
I think professionally it should be, because they're the ones that laid it all out and got it all.
well, they got paid to do it. I mean, right? I mean,
No, I understand that.
I'm just asking, I'm not
No,
arguing.
I'm not debating.
So I mean, if they put the paperwork in 2021, they got paid to fill out that paperwork and submit it. It's not like, it's like getting your car done. You can get an appraisal from this body shop. But it doesn't mean you have to have the work done there. You can go where it's more efficient and do that way. So I'd just like to just be clear with that we don't owe them anything. They got paid for their work,
I'm not
right?
saying they own, I'm just saying that they did the work on it, and if it happens to win for us, the grant, they should be able to follow up on it while we get it done. They should be the engineers watching what's getting done, because they laid it out. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Yep,
Not in-
gotcha.
Either way. And it's not gonna be any different than what we're paying Chase now for that.
Mhm.
And we're paying this down to be on call for us this year.
I assume they bill us time hourly rate.
Yeah, they do.
I am a little bit familiar with this firm. My experience with them over my professional career was good with these people.
Who, Chase, huh? Yeah, oh, yeah.
Actually, I think it's their parent company that I.
When it's good, think about it, you wanna come up next meeting and make a decision,
Seems to me if it's an hourly rate,
you know,
we can shut it off anytime we want.
well, we have a contract.
Did we ever get anything from them? I think, I might be mistaken. But did Cedarwood come out and take a look at the roof on this?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, did we ever have them submit it out for bids so we can get everything fastened back down?
it
We
went
didn't
out to
get
bid
any,
and nothing happened.
we didn't get any
We
responses.
got no
to it.
response for it. They laid it all out what we needed and what had to be done. And the first time we got no response.
They also do the year inspection of the landfill.
They take care of our landfill too. You know, just so you know that we used to pay twice a year to get it done. Well, when they took over taking care of the inspection on the landfill, it's only once a year. And again, I'm not defending them, I'm just letting you know what they've done.
That's all I got.
Okay,
Replacements for buildings and grounds,
what's that?
manpower possibly for buildings and grounds.
I think we have to, I was talking to Cindy, we have to put out an RFP for a few things that we need. And I think we got to put out the buildings around, one or two people there.
Well, it's not on the fee.
Huh? What's that?
It's not on the fee.
No,
No, it's just gonna be
Just-
one ad. No,
Yeah, get an ad out. And basically, I'm thinking we're looking for possibly part-time. And basically, working as laborers. Garbage,
I'll call it a job description.
yeah.
Complete job description. So,
All right, well, once you work with me on that this week, we'll get up a job description for the buildings and grounds, whatever else we need.
Sure.
We just basically needed labor workers, we're not looking for CDL.
We have one man right now,
Class.
who holds the Class B that could be out for 1 to 2 months with neck surgery. And he does drive our garbage truck.
Yeah. We got Brian, he's up in the class, I don't know when that's.
Where's
gonna be out.
Eric Shield fall into this?
He's a part-time worker, CDL strictly what drive, go out.
You said Brian's still in the class, right?
It's still in the past. It's
So
almost
you can't
over.
count that.
No. Yeah, we can get together.
No, no, let's spend some time, take care of it. All right, Mike, anything else?
No, thank you.
Any comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make it.
What?
Paul, was that resolution the one for the bookkeeper? Is that what you're looking for and want to keep?
As long as everybody's in good shape in the respects of that, you know, the only thing that kind of we're trying to figure out is we're gonna have to get X amount of people to get in here to sign before, you know, a signature or how we're gonna handle that.
Is there checks in there, you mean?
No,
The emergency check signature.
Right, the
Right.
signature saying, yes, she can go along there and sign it, I guess.
Well, all right, well,
Can
Hopefully
we
we'll
do
get-
that via email? Would that be an acceptable?
I don't.
I mean, for,
We have
I
to
know
go to-
myself,
we have
there's
to go
times
to-
I'm out in this area for 6 hours.
well, that's what I'm thinking. Mike,
Yeah.
Mike's on his western Gallivant. Okay, he's gone from, you know, 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 at night.
Well, can I just say, and I agree with you, right now, by tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I hope, it's only because the bank doesn't have the people there that know the knowledge to get that signature on our checks. We started last week, we went there last week, and the place was closed. They have problems with COVID, I think, and labor problems.
How can we do it, Mike, without
Can we go with a stamp? I mean, a lot of towns.
a physical
No.
signature?
There used to be,
I'd rather see.
Larry Bennett did it, he had a stamp.
Yeah, I don't care. for that.
That's why I stopped that, I don't like the
I
stamp.
was gonna say, I'd rather see somebody's
But,
actual chicken scratch,
If we get Jim on tomorrow,
right?
plus myself, and I just, and I know you, my guys might disagree with me, and I just don't understand why Colleen can't be the third one, because you can't sign it without somebody else.
I think
Because it would cut Jim out of the loop. It would be so much easier if you and her just signed it, and then Jim and the board might not know what's going on. And I'm not saying there's anything.
I didn't want.
I would suggest that we make Colleen the emergency signature.
Right.
Yeah,
One-
but
one
what
of
Paul
us-
was, that's what Paul said,
That's what I want.
but he just wanted the board to be aware of that when that was coming into play.
When that comes into effect, why can't we just say, hey, you know, Colleen's gotta be the emergency signer? Please respond to this email,
Right,
and that's kind of verification, instead of going along there and having to come in here and sign something. I mean, let's say I get lucky and I get to go on vacation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
So Mike, I think what we're saying is, could it be stated, could we make a resolution that would say, under emergency check signing situation, if 2 board members approve it, Colleen can sign a check?
I'd rather, I guess, have a majority.
Yeah, it's gotta be a majority, yeah, because it's,
So 3 board members, that
yeah, that's good.
doesn't give them a public meeting.
no.
laws.
no, we won't have to get together to do it.
No,
Okay,
just by-
that's what I meant.
by
But if by
email
email,
or
if
phone.
we set it up by email, I mean, you're able to trace it back to, hey, okay, this came from.
Email or text. I don't get
Well,
text.
I prefer email. Text isn't a good form of communication. It really is.
We send out to you guys like we do sometimes, and
Correct.
say, hey, we're gonna have this meeting.
And
or
then you can
something.
reply all, and
Yes.
everybody knows exactly what's
Yeah.
going on.
Then everybody's covered.
Maybe you can call and say, check your email, or you can text. and say,
That's
check
true.
your email.
That's true.
So what you're saying is 3 board members would have to be notified. In the event there's an emergency, that Colleen would have to sign a check because Jean or Jim would not. Okay, you have it already. Okay, thank you.
All board members would have to be notified, though 3 of them would have to approve it.
Right after respond.
Right, right.
Is that excluding the one that is actually signing the check?
Doesn't matter.
You need a majority.
Gotta be a
You need a
majority.
majority,
Well,
so
I
it's not
guess
gonna
I
matter.
was hoping one of the board members contacted.
Correct.
If I was Florida, somebody's got to sign something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I can say I
that's
recommend you
it.
sign.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
I think,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's a good question, Mike.
All right.
And that's strictly for emergency.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I just don't feel comfortable signing one and nobody else. No.
No,
Well, you
Just so
realize,
you know.
You realize when we set this up, we'll never have to use it. If we don't set it up, we'll need it next week.
Perfect.
That's correct.
So prior.
All right. I'll make a motion, we adjourn if nobody has anything else.
You got something in writing or did you?
I'll send-
you do that?
Yeah, I think that'll cover what you just discussed. Okay. We throw in the word emergency, but I think, that's more of,
In the absence. Yeah.
it's your comfort level.
For
That-
specific-
That and the email part.
I would consider.
All right, I got a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor, aye.